Why Trump has reason for optimism in 2020. President Trump is rolling into a post-Independence Day weekend at his Bedminster, NJ, property with reason to feel good about himself and his re-election prospects for 2020. A number of things are going Trump's way, leaving him better positioned for victory in a second term. The first is the economy, which is showing little sign of slowing down. The monthly employment report issued on Friday showed the economy gained 224,000 jobs in June. Even with minor wages ticked up slightly, and according to the report are up 3.1% for hourly workers over the past 12 months. This is still sluggish. The stock market is also soaring, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average setting a new record high this week on optimism about an end to the US-China trade war and hopes that the Federal Reserve might lower interest rates. Markets dropped Friday on the solid jobs report, which reduced the likelihood of a Fed rate cut, and it would be a fool's errand to predict markets will definitively grow between now and November 2020. In the big picture, however, markets are up significantly since Trump's election and will be something he can point to as a positive from his first 4 years in office. Top White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow said Friday that the recent stock rally and strong jobs report proved that Trump's policies have fueled all of this is good news for an incumbent president. As GOP strategist Ford O'Connell this week, the power of incumbency is already a huge predictor. Only a handful of. It's no wonder Trump was in a good mood on Friday. The second good thing going for Trump is the divisive Democratic presidential primary. The White House clearly fears former Vice President Joe Biden, a centrist seen as a strong potential nominee in the swing states of Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, which Trump took from Democrats in 2016. Biden remains the front-runner for the Democratic nomination, but he has taken some serious hits and is now seen as weakened. If he emerges as separately, Biden's unsteady debate performance has undercut his perceived strengths as a candidate, and raised questions about whether he is a step too slow on the campaign trail. A Biden campaign collapse would raise the likelihood that the Democratic Party will nominate a more progressive standard-bearer, something Republicans are openly hoping for. Trump and Senate. Similarly, they are delighted to see Democrats talking about providing health care to immigrants who are in the country illegally, seeing it as an issue that will motivate Trump voters to go to the polls and one that could lose Democrats the support of independents. This GOP calculation may be wrong. It's far from clear that Biden is the best candidate the party has to offer in 2020, though head-to-head polls pitting top Democrats against Trump suggest that he is for now. Plenty of Democrats think the best thing that can happen for their party is to nominate a candidate who will most inspire their progressive base. They believe it hasn't been a rosy year for the president, who polls show would be beaten in head-to-head matchups not only by Biden, but by senators. Elizabeth Warren. Trump is also embroiled in a damaging controversy surrounding the treatment of migrants detained at the southern border, one that has the potential to turn voters away from the White House. And he's suffered loss. Trump will run for re-election on the strength of his economic stewardship, making the economy the single most important factor in the campaign. In fact, some political models would predict an easy re-election win for the president given historic trends for presidents running for re-election during solid economic times. Yale professor Ray Fair's model, which leans on the nation's growth in gross domestic product to calculate the likely winner of the presidential race, the Democratic candidate winning about 45% of the vote in a two-party contest. Fair's predictive model was off 7 percentage points in 2016, something the professor blamed on Trump's divisive personality. The current analysis. This remains the biggest reason why Democrats think they can turn Trump out of office next year. they feel the nation, Trump wants to prove them wrong, and it's clear he wants the race to be a referendum on the Democratic candidate. Just as in in another positive for Trump, it's clear the money will be there. The Republican National Committee and Trump's campaign this week reported they had raised $105 million for his re-election campaign. It will be used to tar a Democratic candidate, leaving one thing certain: as negative as the 2016 presidential contest was, it may be nothing compared to 2020.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park, pot.